The sun climbed lazily above Wasson's sleepy streets, casting long shadows along the concrete corridors of Sarah Forth Apartments. In apartment number 302, Mrs. Lee, a kind-hearted mother in her early 30s, prepared lunch for her bright-eyed 3-year-old daughter. The morning air was gentle but heavy with unspoken tension, a whisper of dread yet to fully awaken. At precisely 11 a.m. the doorbell rang. Mrs. Lee, expecting perhaps a neighbor, or the delivery of vegetables, opened the door without suspicion. But instead of a familiar face, she found a teenage boy barely old enough to shave standing there with eyes dull and cold. "Hello," he said, voice calm. "I live upstairs." And then, in a moment reeking of horror, he pushed past her. Two teenagers crashed into the apartment, instruments of violence, cloaked in youth. In an instant, they overwhelmed Mrs. Lee, binding her with a necktie and drawing her into the bathroom. From the crack in the doorway, she glimpsed two other girls shoving the TV volume up, drowning out the cries of resistance, and turning the living room into a grotesque stage of silence. Despair clung to her as she struggled, but there was no mercy. They rifled through drawers, snatching jewelry, and a paltry sum of banknotes, some 115,000 won. Then they dragged Mrs. Lee into a bathtub, filling it with icy water. Flames shot across her fear as gasoline hissed and spread over her body. Sparks ignited, flame surged, but a spark of primal will flared within her. She doused the fire, locked herself inside the bathroom, trembling, alive. Her door became her only shield. But they would not be denied. The door splintered. One boy, knife in hand, lunged at Mrs. Lee. Pain exploded as cold steel met flesh, her abdomen pierced, entrails spilling, her world going black. Another slash, this time to her back, and they left her broken among water, flame, and agony. Silence fell like ash. In the hallway, the four teenagers paused. They glanced at each other. One girl knelt before Mrs. Lee's daughter. With an uncanny gentleness, she asked, "Do you know who I am?" The child nodded, innocence meeting malice. A bottle of ginseng wine flew through the air, striking the child's temple as though force could erase her existence. She collapsed, before being submerged in the same chilling tub that held her mother's abused body. Then they left four young lives stained irrevocably by brutality. Two others silenced forever. Present day. 28 years have passed since that gruesome summer day in 1997. The Sarah Apartments, once a humble complex in Wasson, now stand partly abandoned, its third floor, a shell of peeling paint and empty corridors. Survivors and neighbors still whisper about the case. How four teenagers, their names still redacted in public records, carried out a crime so primal and perverse. Two served prison terms barely exceeding 2 decades their release. Only renewed public outrage. For many in Wasson, the anguish lingers not just over the loss of life, but the fragility of trust, and how easily darkness can slip behind a quiet door. The world has changed around Sarah, but the memory remains. The building is fenced off, official warnings posted, but tonight, the walls still seem to breathe with memory. Moonlight washes over the silent corridors, and the past waits, patient and unblinking.